Hello, everyone. I hope that there are folks here. I don't know why I'm trying to do this right this second. I have to tell you guys, welcome. I don't know how many you'll be joining me because I don't know. I decided it was time to come back to some of the things that really ground me as a person, kind of ground me in the work that I do. And so I was excited to come back here. And so let me kind of say first, I'm a little flustered. I haven't been on YouTube and doing a live stream and all of that stuff in quite some time. Now it's been a few years, I think. And so all the buttons have moved. And so it took me a little bit to find all the buttons and get myself started correctly. But here I am. I made it, survived. I survived the moving. Now let me just fix my camera one last time. This is as messy as it's supposed to be. I'm so excited that it's already a mess. That's perfect. So yes, welcome you guys. This is Growing Gratitude. I am Becca Hector. And it's Growing Gratitude Live. So we're gonna talk. Let me talk about all of it. I have so much to say. But first, if this is your first time, hey Joe, thank you so much for staying up late for me. I appreciate it. And so I'm gonna be here on Sundays at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time for right now. If a whole bunch of us show up and we're like, I don't know, this time doesn't work great for me, or if I have a shift in my life and all of a sudden this time doesn't work great for me or this day, we'll deal with it then. But this was a good starting place for us. So here we are at 5:30 p.m. EST. If you are elsewhere, I can't do the math for you. I just have a vague idea of how much difference there is. So you'll have to do that on Google. But welcome back to my live stream and my YouTube channel. It's been a bit. I've done a lot of things since I last did any kind of video whatsoever. Um, and so this will be interesting. If you're new to the channel, oh yeah, by the way, you guys, it's fully thunderstorming outside of my house. So I had complete intention of recording this outside, just like I used to record outside when we lived in Colorado. And then we ended up having this really rainy afternoon, and now we have a thunderstorm. So you may or may not hear the thunderstorm in the background. Um, but if you do, and or if all of a sudden I just disappear, it's probably because I lost internet and we had a lightning strike somewhere real close. That's probably what happened. And forgive me, and I'll catch you next Sunday. Because as I was saying, oh, it's Mr. Miller, just in time, bud. Thanks for joining us. Um, and so, yeah, I'm going to be doing this on Sundays at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, and I'm hoping that it'll be a weekly thing. As long as I have the spoons and things are going, and I don't have any kind of conflict with my schedule. If you're returning to the channel, welcome back. I am going to be doing a lot of the same things that I was doing the last time that I was here, and I'm going to tell you why. I used to do a little show, or two little shows, I want to say, on this channel. I used to do, I don't even remember what day of the week it guys. I want to say Wednesday. I used to do a live stream in kind of the daytime. And then on Sundays, I would upload a video. And the being back alive was the live stream I did once a week. And I used to kind of talk about my own life and the challenges that I was facing in that moment as an autistic adult, kind of trying to live out in this very non-autistic world that we live in, and kind of how I deal with it, how I roll through it. And it came out of the work that I do and that I share with the world about my course, Self-Defined Living. So many of the people who were coming to my live stream and who were enjoying what I was uploading with Growing Gratitude were a part of this course, which is called Self-Defined Living. And so the last I left you guys, I was doing my live stream. I was doing Growing Gratitude and uploading the things that I was grateful for each week. Fine. Then we decided to up and move from Colorado and move to Maine. And I vlogged for you guys the whole move all the way to Maine. And I kind of left you there hanging, right? Because that was the end of a cycle for me, right? That was sort of okay, I kind of got where I needed to go. And I needed to start making some shifts about where I was spending my time and what I was doing with them. Well, what I want to tell you is that I am currently, I find myself in the start of my next cycle. So the last few years since that move, right? We've been settling and transitioning, and that sounds like a long time to transition, but it's really not when you move your whole life across country. You need time to figure out where you are and what's near you and what's not near you, and kind of what your favorite restaurants are and all of those things. And so we kind of found our footing. That's the way I want to describe it. For the last 2 years, I've been finding my footing. living here in Maine, and it's really been fantastic. There has not been a moment of it that I have regretted, really honestly, about the move. Everything leading up to getting here was definitely challenging, but it was absolutely worth all of those efforts, right? And then we got here, and of course, that's an exhausting transition. And so we had a lot of recovering to do and a lot of finding our footing and healing from, putting out all of those energies and reacclimating here. And like some things, have gone on in this time for us. And I'm in a space now where I'm ready for my next transition. And this time, it's not a transition of location, but really a transition in focus for me. And so I kind of found myself in this space where I was really more depressed than I've been in a really long time. Like, as depressed as I've been since I got my diagnosis. And if you know anything about me, you know that I got my autism diagnosis after spending 3 years homebound and suicidal. So I was really unwell at the time of diagnosis. And so for me to say I was feeling anything like, right, what that used to feel like for me, I have to say it's scary to me. So it started out with this like depression episode. And that's because I'm still kind of recovering from that move. I had there was a physical toll taken for the move. And it really kind of floored me, and I couldn't do a lot of physically moving things. And I was having a lot of trouble with some of my other physical issues that go along with my body. I'm someone that struggles with POTS-like symptoms. And that was really escalated by the whole move and transition. And so the past 2 years, I've also been struggling with that. And so this depression was really egged on from the fact that I was feeling really useless and broken again. I was feeling like I didn't fit in my body. I gained a lot of weight with being sick. I had hurt my back as part of what happened for me. And the other thing is this POTS-like thing, which had me, both things literally physically kept me still. Like, I could sit at my computer for a little bouts, and then I needed to be on the couch or in the bed, and I could like do little things. And then I've been working my way back up to that, right? But that's kind of what kicked off this depression, was that feeling of like I would never get to the other side of things, or that this cycle wouldn't end and change over and all of those things. And so whatever's, that's kind of where it began. And then I had 2 really big incidents that kind of happened in my life. And so were work-related incidents, and they added another layer of stress to what was going on for me. And so I found myself like really in a really low depression, in a place where I really needed to think about maybe I needed to adjust or switch meds. I was really struggling with suicidal ideations and all kinds of things like that. And then I was also struggling with burnout. That's what starts to happen, right? It's this coalition of things like that when they coalesce together like that. And so I found myself kind of in this space of it was comfortable, where I felt like there would be easy recovery on for me, the same time that was going on for me. So I had just finished writing the book. I was kind of like finished with it. And then, I was really in this space of mental and physical burnout, a really low point in it as the book was coming out. And that was really like, ugh, talk about a dichotomy of 2 things happening at the same time. But it was also another draw on my energy, and certainly not something that I could, a lot of other people involved in it. And so it's not like it was something that I could be like, oh, I'll come back to that later kind of thing. So all of that was happening. And while it was going on, I was like, this is not going to work. None of it is going to work. I feel terrible about myself. I feel terrible about my meat suit. I feel terrible in my headspace. Everything feels off. I have to stop, right? I can't take it anymore. I can't continue like this, right? And so I got to that space and I thought, you know what? I feel good. When I got to the point where I started my own journey that eventually became the course, right? When I said, I am so tired of my own bullshit that I can't anymore. And so I started myself out on unit 1 of my own course all over again. And as I did that, I realized that, you guys, duh, that's the whole point of the course. The whole point of the course is that we are going to cycle, and now we're all going to get to unit 3, and then we have to start all over again. That's the point of life, is to cycle through that whenever it gets uncomfortable. And here's the thing, I wrote this course, and yet here I found myself in a place where I shouldn't have gotten to, right? The end of unit 3 shouldn't feel like, this big hole, right? That means that I stopped my maintenance, right? I didn't do the things that I need to take care of myself. And some of that is me letting my guard down. And some of that is just the transition from moving, right? And needing to recover from that and not really giving that the attention that it needed, right? Not allowing myself that recovery time. I kind of was going through this process of realization with myself that I needed to return to those basics. I needed to take myself back to unit 1, and I needed to start with the things that I tell other people to start with, right? And one of the things, oh, more thunder, that I teach everyone to start with in a good way. And one of the other things that I really think is extremely important is that attitude of gratitude, right? The idea that if we want to manifest good things, we have to be grateful for what we've got in this moment, right? That's what we got to do. And so that's where this is coming from. That's where growing gratitude is coming from. And I wanted to take what I loved about being Becca live and what I love about growing gratitude, and I wanted to kind of meld them together for this once a week thing that I need for me, as much as it's a point that I need to share it with everyone else. That when you finish the course, that's not the end. That all of us get to unit 3 and have to go back to unit 1 at some point or another. Otherwise, we're not alive anymore. We're not living our lives. And so I find myself in unit 1, and I thought, well, you know what? If I need this reminder to get back to unit 1, surely there are other people that will want to do this reminder with me. And in order to keep me accountable, doing these things for myself, I decided to invite you guys on the journey again with me. And so here we find ourselves on Sunday evenings with each other. And on every Sunday, what I'm hoping to do with our little half an hour together is to talk to you about some of the things that I have found challenging from the week behind me, and also the things that I am grateful for from that week. And I've set us up with a half an hour. Maybe it'll take a half an hour. Maybe it'll take a little more. Some days it might take a little less. But the point is that I'm staying accountable, and I'm staying here with you guys. And I'm keeping myself in a space where I get that attitude of gratitude all the time. So I'm just going to do it. I'm going to teach it. I'm going to throw it out to you guys. And if it sticks, great. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. So this week, let's talk about it. I will sum up my week very quickly because I've already talked for a whole bunch of 15 minutes here. And so let me talk about my life this week and sort of that challenge. Well, this week's challenge for me this week for sure was the weather. Again, I talked a little bit about having pox-like symptoms, and I certainly do. And when it is hot and humid at the same time, it becomes really, really hard to be inside my meat suit. It's really uncomfortable. And what I have to do is stay inside with the air conditioning and lay down as much as I can. That's really the best thing that I can do, in addition to eating lots of salt and a couple of other tricks and things that people do. So this past week was yet another reminder that depression is never too far away from me, because I was stuck inside for a good bunch of days this week with the air conditioning, listening to that noise the whole time, not able to really go spend any time outside in the fresh air. And it was really depressing. That is a really depressing thing. And so what I did a lot of work on this week, where my gratitudes come from this week, is a place of a reminder that, for me and my biochemistry and my neurology, depression is never too far away. Anxiety hangs out all the time. I don't think I ever get a break from anxiety. But depression, I've learned to sort of live with better. We've learned to live, in parallel with each other in a different way until recently. And so I'm healing from this really kind of big episode of major depressive disorder. And in that healing, I have to be kind to myself and be grateful for the little things. So I am grateful for the medicine that does what it does for me, even though I hate it most of the time. Don't love the side effects. Can't win either way, and always looking for a solution. But right now, I'm grateful to be able to live my life and not lose months at a time of my life to depression. That feels even worse than the side effects. And so that's where I'm at with that. I'm grateful that I can do group growing gratitude kind of inside, because I was really looking forward to doing it outside with you guys and just kind of really being in my own personal favorite element and not sitting here all stuffy in my office. But at the same time, I get to sit here with Miller, so I'm grateful for his company. He keeps me company in the office every chance he gets. I don't think there's a meeting that I'm in that he's not in with me. And he's with me so much that sometimes I pull him closer and he helps with he sticks his hand in and wants to do the mouse. But he is with me so much for my work that he actually made my book. So Miller is in the one of the first two chapters of my book. And he literally did sit by me while I wrote it, which was really exciting. I am grateful for, I think, getting to this space, being on the other side of this hump of badness that I've just been kind of dealing with. I'm glad that I'm in this upcycle and that I was able to remind myself how to get here. And I'm really looking forward to doing the healing both physically that I need to do, because I definitely need to start losing some weight. And it's not that I eat terribly or anything like that. It's that I literally, for the last 2 years, spent a lot of time sedentary. Physically unable to do even the things that I love. And that was really frustrating. And so one of the things I'm working on myself right now is building up my tolerance and my stamina, and my ability to get back to doing the things that I do love. And also finding new hobbies. And so I've been able to do some of those outside things. And so it's been fun for me. And I'm grateful to have some good weather coming up as well. Yeah. And so with that, I say thank you guys so much for joining me for the return of Growing Gratitude. I am doing this kind of